Hello and welcome to Talk of Good Game. It's the preview of Newcastle United against West Ham United. Two informed teams. Well, kind of. Anyway, Gonzo, your thoughts on our opposition, please? Newcastle.
As you say, a bit of a run of form from them. It's going to be a long cycle ride for our boys to get up there and play the game. Steve Bruce, I think it's hard to think of Newcastle without thinking of Steve Bruce, actually. He's a local lad, wanted the job since he got into management. I think his first managerial job was at Birmingham, and I remember him then saying, it'd be nice to get the Newcastle job one day, which I'm not sure how well that endeared him to the Birmingham fans. And then to get the job and not to be wanted, I'd imagine is probably quite difficult. The club that you support by, they didn't want him there. They wanted Rafa. They were just, obviously unhappy because of Mike Ashley and all the rest of it. And I think what he's done is marvellous. His first game was against us in that friendly, but I think they might have beat us 1-0 in pre-season. And he's been round the block a few times, but he knows his stuff. And he hasn't been half as bad as though all the fans expected him to be, mate. I think he's done a really good job. And I do wonder, actually, if they didn't get taken over, and all things being equal, how many Newcastle fans now would actually say, do you know what, we'd have Brucey in charge for next season? Because at the start of the season, nobody wanted him.
Yeah, I think he's done very well, actually. The funny thing is, it feels like ages ago since we did the last preview for the Newcastle game, and I remember us in it saying, they'll be fine, Steve Bruce will be fine there, it won't be champagne football, but he'll do all right, and he has done that. He's done all right since the project restart. They've been probably one of the more impressive sides, actually, to watch in terms of results. And I mean, they're fairly creeping up the table. I was listening to the other day, and he's determined to get a top 10 finish as well. And sometimes managers just aren't that motivated when they're clear of relegation and stuff. The players and stuff aren't that motivated, but they seem to be really going for a sprint finish, a grandstand finish. Why not? You've got to do that. So they're not doing too bad. Their season, in terms of their season, though, I mean, they were on a hiding to nothing against City. That was. Did you watch that game? After half an hour, I think they'd done 15 passes. So
I didn't know that. Is that the one Foden?
Yeah, bless them. There was just nothing they could do. It was amusing to watch, but they really impressed me since they've come back. But tell you what, this might surprise you. If they beat us on Sunday, they go level on points with Spurs.
It's almost worth wanting them to win. Almost.
Honestly, they will generally join. They will have the same points as Spurs, and they play before Tottenham do, so they will be equal on Spurs. I don't know if that's bad on Tottenham or good on Newcastle, but who'd have thought it?
Both. And to be really, unfortunately, we're going to have to win. West Ham need to win, but that would be good just to see Mourinho's face. Oh, that was bad, yeah. No, I didn't know that. That is interesting.
If the takeover doesn't go through, we're not going to discuss the takeover in detail. I think you've done that enough. But if the takeover doesn't go through, what's the aim for Newcastle next season? Is staying in the Premier League, just repeating this season. Is that enough?
Yeah, absolutely. If the takeover doesn't go through, I think we've already seen with Wigan going into administration. We're starting to see the inevitable reaction financially from clubs who haven't had the same income stream for quite a while. Granted, lower leagues is going to hit them more, but if you don't think that 50,000 fans going through the turnstiles at Newcastle is going to have a financial impact, then you are very, very much mistaken. I would also imagine that Mike Ashley's retail business has not done particularly well. I don't know. Maybe someone comes in and says, actually, through lockdown, Sports Directed, fantastic. But my point is, if they don't get taken over, they're going to have less money than they had before. Everybody will. So yes, exactly the same consolidation, not losing players, would be a real feather in the cap for them.
Yeah,
really.
I have to agree with that. I think repeating it and trying to focus on a cup run, essentially. I mean, to be fair, they've had one this season. That was the quarterfinals of the FA Cup that they've just got beaten in, and it was by Manchester City, who are purring at the minute. So it's by no shame to go out to them at that stage of the competition. So Bruce has taken the cups with a decent level of respect, and that's what Newcastle need. They need a trophy. They need a major trophy. They need the FA Cup. That's what Newcastle United need if the takeover don't go through. Final question, as always. I know one of your answers, but any players you admire from Newcastle, please?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd probably say it's been quite interesting to see.
Oh, come on, get your favourite one over and done with. Come on.
What, Sam Maximin?
Yes, the one you wanted at West Ham for ages.
We'll get. Yeah, look, I did. I just think he's a bag of tricks. The other day, I saw him linked with Wilfried Zaha. If the takeover goes through, well, hold on, that's you have one of those already at the club. Yeah, really good player. I wanted him for a long time. He went there, bag of tricks, fast as hell. Gave us poor old Zabaleta into early retirement, really, didn't he? But not just a bag of tricks. He seems to be having some end product and picking out the players. As I say, it's been quite interesting to see Dwight Gale, who I've always thought was a clinical poacher. You know, one of those players who's a penalty box player. You know, just sticks the ball in the back of there. But he's pretty damn quick as well. Longshaft is a hell of a player. Do you know what? He's so good. Sometimes I look at him, I feel like I'm seeing double. But he's very, very good. Possibly, and I think the upturn in their form may have coincided with that, whichever one that happens to be. One of them's name's Matty, I think, and the other one's name's Sean.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Get in! Come on. They signed a left back before. Did they bring in Danny Rose?
Yes, Danny Rose was the left.
I don't know why they brought in Danny Rose. I like the other geezer, Willian. Willie. It's not the one off the singing program.
No, it's not Black Eyed Peas. No.
It's not the Black Eyed Peas. Yeah, I think it's Will.i.am or whatever his name is. What a player he is. From PSV Eindhoven, really good player. Thought, hey, they've got a left back now. They don't worry, they put in another one, albeit on loan. They got some good players, and as you know, a guy I like and I thought was going to do really well is Almiron. Really fast. They got a lot of pace, this team. But he works hard. But I always thought he had a bit more skill. And he hasn't sort of showed any. I don't think he got any assists and not scored any goals. He's just been running around. Well, thankfully, just before Newcastle are about to play West Ham, Almiron's found his skill and his shooting boots. So that should be interesting for us.
I think Shaw's really gone off the boil this season. He's one of the most disappointing players of the season for me. I thought he was... Do you know when I did my sort of team of the season last season, he was in it. He was in my centre-back role. I think we did the non-top six video and Shaw was in there. I had him in there with Conor Cody, I think. But he was really impressed me. He's not in the starting 11 anymore. Sean Longstaff thinks a fantastic player. I know there's this whole Rice Longstaff thing. I think it's old news now, but I think he's just brilliant. I thought he was really good against Morbith before he went off injured at the weekend. I think he's going to be a top player. They need to get Matty's contract sorted out. I don't know what's going on there. I know his contract was due to end, and there's been no news. And when Bruce was asked about him, because he wasn't in the squad, he just said that he couldn't bring that much players. And he said, but I never brought Atsu. And I thought, well, this is like scraping the battle here because you wouldn't have brought Atsu anyway, so there's a thing going on with Matty Longstaff, but they need to get that sorted because he looks like he could be a top talent as well. I really don't rate Almiron. I just don't like him. Every time I watch him, I just think he's so... he's frustrating to watch. If you're a Newcastle fan, you must really tear your hair out watching it because he does the hard bit and then there's the simple bit which is just pass the ball and you just can't do it sometimes. It's just Yolenton as well.
I mean, I know John Joe Shelby's been tearing his hair out playing.
He's been superb since they come back. I think St. Maximin's been one of the best players in the league since they've come back. But I tell you what, I think Matt Ritchie's been really good. But I think Shelby's just been unbelievable. His passing is just... When you watch it, he does it with so little effort as well. He looks like he's not arsed. He looks like he can't be bothered playing football. But he still just pings a 45-yard pass onto the feet of one of these fast wingers and says, on you go, run. And they do. They just run. And it's effective. It's horrible. It's not the most entertaining thing to watch, but it's very efficient and it's dangerous. They can go from defending from their 18-yarder to your 18-yarder in about 4 seconds. That's not good. But West Ham, let's talk about the West Ham time. Enough about Newcastle. Before we do, there's a bonus video at the end of this video. You might have already seen it. It's me talking about the Chelsea game. So it's on the end slate. Have a little click. It's for the patrons. We're giving it to you for free. Only accessible through the link. It's not on the... Well, it's on the channel, but it's hiding. It's secret video. Gonzo, quite simple question to start with. Any changes? That old myth? You never change a winning side, but would you change this winning side?
Probably not. Although, if you were to... Someone wanted to put Jack Wilshere in... I say someone wanted to put Jack Wilshere. Probably would have to be the manager, because it would just be odd if somebody else put Jack Wilshere in there. But if he decided to put Jack Wilshere in, I wouldn't be sorry. I'd be quite pleased to see that. But I do think he'll get an extended run out off the bench. Aside from that, I'll just keep the team the same. I think you have to. We did our player ratings video, and so many had high marks that they deserve another crack at it, mate.
There's only one change which I wouldn't make. If they're all 100% fit, I wouldn't make any changes. But I've got a slight concern over the potential fitness of one player, but I'll get on to him in a second. But Moyes has got a bit of a headache for this one because we've had the winning team, but now possibly he might have Haller fit, and he might possibly have Mark Noble fit. I mean, he's got some big calls to make, or is it easier than it looks?
Yeah, well, we've missed our payment on Haller, so maybe he might not be able to play. But I think there are headaches, but I also think listening to Moyes speak, whilst he was keen to praise Yarmolenko, I think he pretty much made it clear that he'll be starting from the bench again, sort of without saying it. Well, he praised Yarmolenko, then he really went into why Bowen should play. I think the Antonio one, it depends how knackered he is, really, Gio. I mean, he does such a work rate. It just runs himself into the ground. And he even said afterwards, I watched his interview afterwards, and he said he was knackered. He's non-stop. He's a force of nature, he really is. So that I can understand if he does it. I think there is something, but they're not. Do you know what? They're nice decisions at the moment. He hasn't got any horrible decisions made. The same with the midfield: Lanzini, Fornals, Wilshere. Well, you know what? Nice decision to have to make. It's obviously Felipe Anderson looks like he might be carrying a knock. Probably a convenient knock. He wasn't going to play anyway. So yeah, headache, yes, but a pleasant one, not a migraine.
Well, it could be a bad one though because it's Noble. If Noble is fit again, I do worry. He worries me that Moyes might look at him and think I need to get him in somewhere. I need to get him into the team. I need my captain in there. I just hope he doesn't change it. I hope he keeps the exact same 11. And to be honest with you, I hope Mark Noble says to him, don't change it. Put me on the bench. Leave that 11 as it is. Let's go with that one. Because I know this is something everybody will say, well, I expected that. But when there was people that was at the game against Chelsea that was there, that there's a member of the staff essentially said when Yarmolenko scores and Mark Noble was flew off his seat celebrating and stuff. He was way back, but he was really giving it for the win and something like that, and that's good. We've all played football and we all know what it's like when you're not playing. You almost you want your team to win, but you want the guy in your favourite position to do crap, don't you? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You're like, oh, you can do well, but you're a real stinker of a game. So I'm back in there next week as well. And there'll be a little bit about that with some of our team at the minute. It's not a bad thing. Competition is healthy. But I do just fear that if Noble's available, Moyes is going to try and put him in somewhere. And it's probably going to be at the expense of Lanzini or Fornals. It's going to be at the expense of one of those two. And Noble will go back into that funny 10 role again. And that just concerns me a little bit. Antonio as well, just because of his fitness and also because of his hamstrings. How long can they hold up for? I'm generally expecting him to get injured again between now and the end of the season. And the big question is, if that's going to happen, do you run him into the ground until he gets injured, then that's it? Or do you try and protect him for as long as possible and lower the risk of his injury as much as you can? Because that interview he did, he said he was knackered, but he looked knackered. He was struggling to speak. He's just like, and it's not a bad thing. He's just left 100% on the pitch, and it just worries me that these are games that are coming thick and fast and stuff. And I think because of the win against Chelsea, I think we could probably afford to rest him. Have him on the bench certainly, but not start him. But make it very clear you're starting the next game, unless Yarmolenko or Haller, whoever's in your place, unless he bangs in a hat trick. But even then, I'll probably still find you on the left wing or something, and make it very clear to him you're not dropped. It's purely rotational, and you're definitely starting next week. You're 100% starting next week. He's my only worry. But if there was, apart from Wilshere, is anyone else you're hoping to see? But I mean, the bench now, surely now, Wednesday. When did we play? Wednesday night? It was Wednesday. This has got to be a game changer now for Moyes' bench, hasn't it? He's now got to have confidence in his substitutions. Yarmolenko, Wilshere, Haller, Noble. He's got to have confidence that he can put those on and change a game.
Yeah, I mean, somebody asked him in the press conference. They said you've taken stick for your substitutions, but you got them right this time, and that's just got to feel good for him because he has been taking criticism for his substitutions, and rightly so. So it's got to feel better, getting praise for it. I often think with not just him, but with any manager, your desire to keep your job should be more powerful than your habits, which you're entrenched in. All right. So Moyes' habit might be to play noble, whatever, but actually he's just had some evidence to suggest actually if you don't, you might get some victories. That's got to be a good thing. And it's the same with the substitutions. All right, you might not like many. Did Sean Dyche do no substitutions the other day? Was that right?
No unforced. He did one, but it was an injury. He did no unforced subs. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sean Dyche can turn around and say, "Yeah, no problem. It's working for me." But it's not been working for Moyes. So for him to show that, but the quality he's got to bring on, I mean, you must have a desire to bring on Yarmolenko. I think if it was me and I was a manager, I'd say, okay, starting with Bowen, 2 assists. Moyes said Bowen got 1 assist, by the way, which was slightly worrying. Did you see it at the press conference? He said Bowen set up 1 goal. I thought,
maybe he doesn't count set pieces.
Of course, well, I think he very much does. He tried to set up there. He probably counts a throw-in as a shot on goal. But I do think that even if you really wanted Bowen to play well, he would still be excited to bring Yarmolenko on, and that's really what I want him to do. I want him to feel that substitutions can win him the game. I don't want him to be excited to make them. I want him to honestly believe my bench is good. Now I'm going to be able to cause the other team problems.
I think there's been a lack of trust, to be honest with you. I just think he's looked around at his bench in previous games. He's had a Jetty, he's had Silva, and he's thought, what are you going to do? I'd rather have an 80% Antonio than a 100% of Jetty, so I'm just going to leave him on and hope that he can do something. But I just hope now he can turn around and think, actually, Yarmolenko, Wilshere, I've seen what you can do on the pitch now. He gave us a little insight into when he made those silly comments about Jetty, when he said, well, I've seen him as much as you've seen him. You know, I've probably seen him a bit more in training, and that was it. And I thought,
you'd hope so, wouldn't you?
Oh, that's not the right. But the point is, that is probably what he's thinking. He's probably looking at Jetty going, I don't know what you can do. But now he's seen Yarmolenko on the pitch. Yarmolenko can now turn around and say, now you know what I can do. Yeah. And I just hope that St James's Park, whatever the situation, even if we're a goal up, he's a right player to bring on to get that second one that we're drawing. He's the right player to come on to win it. And we're losing, he's the right player to come on to get back. Yarmolenko's a perfect sub, and I just hope Moyes can turn around now with confidence, with faith, and say, I need a goal, up you come. I know you can score on the pitch. I actually think we're going to see earlier substitutions from Moyes on Sunday because he now has faith in who he's got on his bench. Not all of them. Jetty will still be sitting there, and there's no point in him warming up, quite frankly. But the other ones, and if he has got Noble and Allaire there, he's now got Noble, Allaire, Yarmolenko, Wiltshire, Balbuena. He's looking at those boys thinking, I trust this slot. This is my 5. I trust these, because he brought Balbuena on with 2 minutes to go or something. That wasn't making a sub for the sake of it. Because he could have brought on a Jetty for Antonio or something just to waste time. He did it. He brought on Balbuena because it was very much I trust you to go into that back and help Diop and Ogbonna. Because it's risky putting an extra centre back on. They're not in the game immediately. Everything can go Pete Tong when the ball comes in the box. So he trusts Balbuena because he's seen him for a game. So I'm just hoping now he's got more players on that bench he trusts a little more than he did prior to the Chelsea game, if you like. And I just hope we see a more expansive David Moyes. Are you confident for this one? I mean, we've got this situation again, Gonzo. On Saturday, Villa play, Watford play, Brighton play. It could all go in our favour. They've all got tough fixtures. I expect Brighton to win, but they're ahead of us anyway. Yeah. But Villa play Liverpool, Watford play Chelsea. I mean, these are...
That was a bad result for Villa, by the way. Liverpool getting thumped. That's a really bad thing for Villa because he will not be happy with that at all. I think it was almost the worst thing that could happen. Villa would have been better off with Liverpool beating City 4-0. Yeah. I really do. We're going to have a motivated team there. Am I confident? No, I'm not confident at all. But I'm more hopeful. I'm more upbeat. Am I confident going to St James's Park and winning? And no. I don't think you can be. It's a long old journey up there. They're a good team. They're in better form than us, but they're not facing that same old West Ham, mate. They're not facing the West Ham who are going to leave acres and acres of space in behind the back line for their fast players, which they do have many, to be able to run into. They're going to find it. They're going to have to break us down in a different way. They better either be very good at crossing or be taking some very good long shots or something like that. They will not be scoring those same type of goals.
Richie and Shelby are good at long shots, unfortunately, so they might be happy with that. But I'm optimistic. I think both managers will probably be content with a point as the game goes on. I think Moyes will be happy with that, because I am also predicting here that neither Watford or Villa win on Saturday. So I think Moyes will think, actually, if I can match what they do, that's fine. I stay 3 points ahead of them, with still some favourable fixtures coming up, whereas they've got some fixtures that look a bit iffy on paper. I mean, Newcastle did us a favour. Newcastle fans, you made it this far. Thank you very much to your team. We enjoyed that win against Bournemouth, but we're hoping you do us another one. I'm optimistic, Gonzo. I think we'll score, and I think we're going to go there with the belief we're going to score. If Newcastle want to win this game, they're going to have to score at least 2, and that's already like throwing down the gauntlet to them, saying, well, come on then, what have you got? Big old Andy Carroll will be chomping at the bit to get on and do something against us. I know that for sure. He'll be right up for this. I wonder if Steve Bruce starts him, I do wonder if Bruce throws him in and says, go on then, you've got something to prove to me, go on, do it. To be honest with you, I think Diop and Ogbonna relish a challenge of Andy Carroll, and they're not too bad in there, our centre-backs. I think they'll fancy it. So I'm optimistic if Moyes can get the team right, which I think he will. We've now got the formation which works well. I think it'll be a good game, actually. I can see goals in this one, which is possibly a little hint as to what I'm going to be going for. But do you know something, Gonzo? A point prior to Villa and or Watford pulling off shock wins, a point's a good point here. If you offer me 4 for Chelsea and Newcastle, bit your hand off easily any day. And I'm a bit more optimistic about staying up as well. Do you know, you said you think we'll stay up because of a hunch. I think you've now got a little bit of evidence. You can now say, I think we'll stay up with a little bit of evidence now, other than just a gut feeling. And I think we're going to add a little bit more evidence to that on Sunday as well. But anyway, can I get any final words, please? Followed by your score prediction.
Yeah, I'd like to say up the Shah, which is a personal favourite of ours. I'd like to also, I think, if they are going to play Carroll, just going on what you just said, then if they're going to launch that sort of aerial bombardment, then actually one of our central midfielders is a centre half anyway as well to go and accompany that, and the other one is 6'4". So we are more than capable of dealing with an aerial bombardment, he says, ready to be memed. I think I might go for a 1-1 on this one.
Guess what I'm going to go for? It's time. Yes, it's time. It's 2-2. I'm going to go for 2-2. I just think this is going to be a good game, actually. I've enjoyed watching Newcastle. I've watched a lot of Newcastle post-lockdown because they played Villa and they played Bournemouth, so naturally that's the games I'm watching, the Villa and the Bournemouth ones. But Villa got a point there, and I thought Newcastle were the better team for large parts, but certainly the last 5-10 minutes, Villa really cranked the pressure up on them, and I thought Newcastle started to fade a little bit. They've had a lot of games, we've had a lot of games. They played at the last weekend. Newcastle had a game in the FA Cup when we had a rest, so I'm hoping that fatigue kicks in the latter stages, and this is where Moyes, I'm hoping, could turn to his bench and just go on and win it. But Steve Bruce has done a lot of rotation in the last couple of games, which is difficult for us. He has rotated half his team anyway, so I'm expecting a good one. 2-2 for me. Sunday, 2:15 kick-off, so 1:10. Come back to the channel. Come back. Gonzo will be live with the build-up, with the team news, and he'll give you his thoughts on what West Ham's going to be looking like and doing, what Newcastle are doing. We've got the watch-along with Tom and Charlie immediately after that, all the way through to full time, and then Gonzo will be live with his review, hopefully celebrating 3 points for West Ham. We've got our Patreon videos coming up as well, opposition view of Newcastle, the player ratings. We've got the morning video on Sunday morning, and you've got a bonus video coming up in just 2 seconds. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like on it. Sky new around here, and Gonzo, enjoy the game on Sunday.
I will.